Right. Testing one, two, three. Can you hear me now? What's up, everybody? Justin's at the range. Got a notification. Focus on your shooting, man. Watch the replay later. You're not going to miss much. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. Just figured after yesterday's video, I'd do another live chat. I know a lot of people like them. I usually end up enjoying it, but usually at the beginning, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about for an hour or two or five. Like I've gained subs since I came back. Yeah, I lost some and gained some. I think I'm up on the in the aggregate, but it was funny. Like as soon as I posted a new video for the first time in a long time, it's like several hundred people were like, "Yeah, forget that guy," which makes a whole lot of sense. Like at first I was like, "Wow, that's hurtful." No, my feelings hurting. And it's like, nah, this is a transient hobby, man. Those of you guys who are into it and manage to stay in it month after month, year after year, are the exception. A lot of people seem to come and go, so I don't blame them. Five, holy crap. Yeah, we're probably not going to go five. We'll just play it by ear. Maybe two. Two's a good target. Just came in from getting stuff around for trout season started up. Yeah, well, my next video is going to be getting some shotgun shells loaded for turkey season. Turkey season and trout fishing go together pretty good. Actually, the last place I turkey hunted was near a lake with a spillway that they stock. So maybe I'll do a little bit of that. I love trout, man. That's probably my favorite fish to go catch and eat. So good. Battle Chemist, you got all the stuff for reloading, but haven't done any in years.
Milradlab super chatted $10. You inspired a new channel and video. Thanks for the push over the edge.
Hey, Milrad Lab, that's great to hear, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much, and good luck.
6002 super chatted $10.
Hey, no Sam, thanks. Appreciate that. To develop a load for drones, got to go steel with that, right? That actually might not be a bad idea. Am I happy with the latest white oak barrel? Yes, because I was going to mention that in the video. Maybe I will in a future video, but you got to keep in mind those white oak barrels shoot great. You know, we've got a million videos to prove it, but they're cheap, right? They're the budget barrel. If you want to buy a white oak barrel that's built with a, you know, I don't know, a Krieger, a Bartline, any of them, like, you know, he sells those too. So, you know, what are they? They used to be like $200. I'm sure they're a little bit more now.
Single shot. Super chatted $4.99.
Hey, thanks, Single Shot. I appreciate that. So yeah, it does seem like the blank in my barrel, the blank my barrel was built with is a little bit rough. It's got some rough spots. It's got some tooling marks, but you know, it shoots well, shoots really good. So it's hard to be too upset. Hey, Hampty boy, thanks for dropping by. Good to see you. But Michael, where have I been? Where have you been? I've been back. I've been making videos for a couple months now. There's 5 or 6 you can go watch. So you got to get caught up. But yes, I was gone for a while. Just wasn't really shooting, wasn't reloading. Missouri has great trout fishing. You know, most of the, I don't know. If I wanted to be mean, I would say like most of the trout fishing around here is just, following the stocking truck around and joining the big crowd. It does feel like a little bit of a circus at times, especially right around the time places are stocked. It's a lot of fun. Like I mentioned, they're very tasty, so it's worth it. How's the 3D printer working out after a few years? Pretty good. Like I go in, you know, bits and spurts. Isn't that what you say? Yeah. Like I used it a whole bunch whenever I was building an annealer, like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that. But like I haven't printed anything in a while now. So when I need it, it's there. It still works great. But I just don't have enough, random little crap that I want to print to keep the thing busy. Am I on Rumble? No, not right now. That place has gotten pretty big, pretty successful. So maybe at some point. Six arc coming soon. 6.5 PRC probably not as soon, but we'll get back to it. Get a series on 10 gauge anti drone load. Like what would make the perfect drone load? Like, do you need like just cheap, lots and lots of pellet count, like as many pellets as you can get, or does it need to have some weight to the shot to knock it down? I don't know. Like my first thought is that just a nice load of cheap steel shot would make for a pretty good drone load. Like some number 8 shot. Any interest in doing shell shock rifle case loading? No. Like, yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, right, they're rifle cases. You can't actually reload them. Just buy them, load them, and then. Like, I don't know. I don't really have any. Like, is that solving a problem out there? The rifle cases. I'm not sure. Like brass works fine. I think the propellers break pretty easily. That's what I'm thinking, right? You just get a little cloud of shot up there and let the propellers do the work. Wear bismuth 7.5 shot. The sharp edges helping pierce the body of the drone. Number 2 lead or number 2 tungsten. I get a little bit nervous whenever you get the large shot sizes with steel or tungsten. That seems to be the stuff that'll damage barrels and stuff like that. Or I don't know. But it feels pretty safe. Like this is number 9 tungsten here. I want to be using for my turkey loads, and it feels pretty safe shooting that stuff as long as you protect the barrel from scarring and whatnot. But I could have only one powder for 5.56 for 55 grain bullets, what would it be? Lots and lots of options there. Like if you wanted a ball powder, there's a ton. You know, everything from H335 to CFE 223 to Accurate 2520. Lots of those. And then on the extruded side, I love 8208 XBR, N540. Both of the ones I shot in the last video, those are a couple of my favorites. You know, Reloader 15 is an old standby. A lot of people like that. It's hard to go wrong with Varget. That's the thing about, like, you know, 5.56 is about a solid 2/3 of the powders are made for that purpose. You know, medium rifle. So there's just so many on the market, and most of them are good. Dirty Civilian just recently did a video on drone shotgun loads. Buckshot did terribly. Interesting. Like the TSS turkey load you have would be lethal on drones, 8s and 10s. To reload the shell shock rifle cases, use a collet neck sizing die, work on 300 blackout for you. Cool. I mean, are they durable? Is that the thing? Like you can shoot them a million times, or like, yeah. From the videos you've seen out of Eastern Europe, modern issue is drones. That's true, man. It's some of that stuff's pretty scary. Yep. Albert mentions Ramshot Tac. That's another great powder. Power Pro Varmint gets mentioned. BLC2, not one of my favorites, but it's a lot of people like it. Pretty slow for 55 grainers, but still pretty good. 3031. I have a video on making Full Metal Jacket clones of 62 grain green tips. No, I bought a bunch of 62 grainers. I think that was the plan at some point. I can't remember if those are hollow points I bought or if they're... Yeah, I was thinking about doing some work with 62 grain, but haven't... You know, I'm sure I've got like a couple videos, but no big, like, deep dive into the subject. Does the CFE line help with your quest to remove copper fouling, or is it just hype? By my understanding, pretty much most of the modern powders have that copper, anti-copper additive. I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, you know, if you know, eventually I come to a point where I could reliably copper foul a barrel, maybe that's something I could play around with and test, see if one of the CFE powders seems to work better. Where did I acquire number 9 tungsten? That is from Ballistic Products. Nana Ballistic tested shotguns on drones. Remember what worked for him? I could definitely buy a few cheap drones and shoot them down. Copper foul barrel results are interesting. I think so. Like, it feels like we're maybe getting somewhere. It feels like the right time to switch to a different gun. At this point, I'm perfectly ready to blame that barrel as being really prone to copper fouling. So we'll switch to something else and see how it does. And also, like, at least for me, like all of the tests we've run so far have shown improvements in group size with the clean barrel. But it hasn't been crazy. Like, it hasn't been, 3-inch groups coming down to tight little groups. It's been modest improvement, but it's been improvement, right? It's been obvious improvement. So good info to have. I probably need to get to 30 caliber before too long. And that's where I need to buy some bullets. I need to really, narrow it down to what I want to buy. I know a lot of people have mentioned the hammer bullets. I'm going to get some of the hammers and a couple other brands and shoot them in that Krieger AR-10 barrel. Like, that barrel should be a little bit prettier than the white oak. So, we'll see. Maybe it'll be less prone to fouling. Wish I would do more handgun stuff. Really enjoyed the 38 stuff. Yeah, I don't have the shooting capability or the equipment to shoot for groups or anything, So it's like every time I want to do a handgun video, it feels just like, assemble the ammo, go out and dump a couple mags to make sure everything's functioning, and that's it, right? It's hard to differentiate between what's good or what's bad. Like, what's a good handgun powder versus a bad handgun powder? I don't care, right?
Virgil Palmer became a member.
And thanks, Virgil. Appreciate that. When it comes to handguns, it's like, does it run through a powder measure? Well, they all do. Is the velocity consistent? I guess you could look at, but as long as it's the appropriate speed, it's giving you the velocity that you're looking for. It's hard to call one good or another one bad. 180 flatlines. I've heard a couple people mention the flatline. About a 22 Creedmoor or 6 Creedmoor? Probably not anytime soon. Like, I'm just kind of not, I don't want to buy any more guns. Actually sold a bunch last year and tried to narrow things down.
Don Hill became a member.
Hey, thanks, Don. Just don't want to. Yeah, I need to get back in the groove of being a guy who shoots a lot before I go expanding the gun collection anymore. Any interest in the Dasher? It's a pretty cool cartridge, but not really at this point. Replied to my reply about mean radius versus group size. Hoping to hear your thoughts. It's just another way to measure the groups, right? Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was you who made the comment, and then I gave a link to the Hornady podcast. Hornady did a whole podcast about mean radius and how it can be helpful. Like, what kind of a deep conversation, but it just really comes down to how many shots do you need in a group to say this is a good group, or this is a good combination, it's a good group. And will mean radius tell you that faster than going with just extreme spread?
Wisconsin Hiker became a member.
Hey, thanks, Wisconsin Hiker. Appreciate that. So, their answer is yes. That's what they think. And I tend to agree with them. So, like I mentioned, if you're talking about the comment I'm thinking of and all that stuff, it was this group right here is kind of the proof, right? If we look at this group, this is a better group, right? We got a bunch of shots there together and then flyers all around it. But the previous group, when the barrel was dirty, more even distribution, right? So I consider this to be a better group than this group. However, the total group size, this is a 1.81 inch, right? Had this little guy way out here and this little guy way over here. It's a bigger group, but I think it's a better group. Well, mean radius, measuring mean radius, agrees with that. The mean radius is 0.44 versus 0.48. So I might do a video. It's not something I really want to hammer too hard because nobody likes it. It's like it's hard to measure, right? You need to use an app on your phone or something, or you need to have a system like the shot marker that's going to tell you or something. And most people don't have that. If you tell somebody like, man, my group was a 0.25 mean radius, they don't really know what the hell you're talking about. And so, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's very valuable to me. I'm going to be mentioning it in my videos, but I'm not going to be hammering it home. You're always going to have extreme spread group sizes available to you. And if that's what you want to listen to and you want to think about, and if that's what blows up your skirt, then, I hope, yeah, you're good. I promise not to ever go completely away from measuring groups the traditional way. But, it is what it is. I think 5 per group at minimum. 10 is preferable with validation of promising loads. Yeah, and, it goes back. I probably need to do a video about it. Hornady did some podcasts a couple years ago talking about statistical significance of groups and how many you needed to have to show a significant change. And I think their kind of final answer was the number's around 25. If you really want to know what a load's doing, you need about a 25 shot group. And so, yeah, but it only takes a 2-shot group to tell something is bad, right? If I know that I'm looking for groups under an inch and I shoot 2 shots and it's 2 inches, we're done. We can move on. So it's hard really to come up with the best way to test. I kind of need to rethink it. None of the videos that I've done so far have really made me sit down and really come up with a load development method, but I need to. I don't know what that even looks like yet, but it's probably going to be, yeah, I don't know. Very deep conversation. It's a very, very annoying conversation, right? If you think I seem agitated about mean radius, like this is really agitating. Because nobody's going to want to see it. Nobody's going to want to hear it. Nobody's going to listen to what you're saying. And that can be frustrating at times. Yeah, 30-round group was the number they have. And nobody wants to shoot a freaking 30-round group. It's it's absurd, right? Shooting a 30-shot group is absurd. Ammo comes in 20-round boxes, for crying out loud. Okay, how many... especially cartridges where you're looking at barrel life of, 1,000 shots or something. Every shot's precious, and it's a gnarly discussion, man. It's a gnarly discussion that I'm not even sure I want to have because I don't want to hear the feedback. You know what I'm saying? Like, Yeah, you know, three shot groups work for Grandpappy, and they work for you. Good, God bless you. You know, good luck with you. However, like the 10 years or so of videos and testing I've done on this channel, totally prepped me to hear what Hornady was saying, because you know we've constantly run into problems with no ability to recreate our results, especially mixed results, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, here's the accuracy node, 25.5 grains shot a whole lot better than 26 grains, and then you go try to duplicate that or test that again, and it's completely backwards, or it doesn't. Like that's sample size. That's all sample size crap. Those 5-shot groups, you know, they were good enough to tell you that it's definitely not bad. Or that it's you know, it's not definitely bad, I guess I should say, but it might still not be good, right? Those little groups that you shot might not mean a whole lot. 30-shot group for when the paper's shooting back. Yeah, Joel, exactly. Like, there's a big difference between statistically relevant and practical. And, man, it's, you know, we just, hang on, did my stream just drop? It looks like I'm dropping frames. There we go. Now it's back. Hopefully it didn't drop out on you. Sorry to give you feedback you didn't want. Well, no, it's not that I don't want the feedback. It's just, you know, I don't know. You asked about mean radius. I gave you a link to a video, and it's like, that's the answer, right? Like, go and really take a minute to wrap your head around exactly what they're saying. You know, like, Preston Moore uses 30-shot groups on his channel. I'll have to check that out. That's a lot of ammo. It's a lot of ammo. Stream looked good the whole time. Okay, good. 1 shot per charge over the chronograph to figure out a general charge weight to achieve the desired velocity, then shoot 2 round groups at different overall lengths to find a sweet spot. Yep. And, you know, I guess what I'm saying is like that, you know, I don't know. And the other problem is all the testing that Hornady did that I know of was in their cartridges, right? It was 6-arc, it was the Creedmoors, it was the PRCs. These are modern cartridges with modern chamber designs. I wish they would have tested in, you know, a crappy 308 SAMI chambering or something, because, you know, they will tell you that overall length, like especially small overall length variation, just means nothing. Just doesn't matter.
Jonathan Rogers super chatted $5. Always was told 7 shots is minimum for statistical significance. I generally do 10. If you looking for 1 mower and second shot is 1.15 mower, you have an answer.
That's true. And that's kind of, and thank you, by the way. Thank you for the super chat. That's the, I don't know, that's the difficulty, right? Because, okay, so me, like, I'm sitting down, I want to record the beginning of my video where we load all the ammo, and then I want to go out and I want to do the range part. Or maybe you spend the week loading your ammo, and then, you know, Saturday you're heading to the range and you want to have ammo ready to load up and shoot. Like, you shoot 30, so you load up your 30-shot groups for your statistical significance, and then you get there, and like you say, the second shot, it's already a gigantic group, and it's like, wow, I've got 28 wasted bullets and a whole bunch of powder that I'm going to waste, and it's aggravating. Well, I guess what we all need to do, we all need to switch to loading out on the range at the bench, like the bench resters do sometimes. Need to get our arbor presses and all of our appropriate seating dies for our arbor presses and just load them one at a time. Hey, thanks, Battle Chemist. Appreciate that, man. Good to see you. Glad you could stop by. Reloading fun. Seen all of Hornady's videos on this stuff. Listen to applied ballistic stuff. I don't agree. Mean radius, sample size, all stuff. Yes. Yeah. Then like I said, I'm never going to stop measuring groups extreme spread. So just everybody can take the info they like and leave the rest. There you go, Basset Hound. That's a better idea. We need to pull out the Lee hand presses. Bet they didn't use Burger bullets, Barnes bullets, or anybody that makes a specialty bullet. They probably used a Hornady junk. Okay, yeah. Maybe so. You take stuff like the A-tips, man. They're making some modern bullets, that sort of stuff. How you do seating depth tests with a hand press or something. Yeah, Millrat, he recoil at the thought of dragging all that crap to the range. I'm with you there, man. And plus, then, yeah, like worrying about the humidity and like, oh crap, the humidity's really bad today, so my velocity's going to be down a little bit, or it's really dry, and reloading's a freaking nightmare, man. Absolutely nightmare. You never thought of how lever action, how each round removed from the magazine tube changes the barrel harmonics. Are you shooting groups that small with the lever action to where you worry about it? I mean, maybe. I think lever action, I'm thinking open sights and 2 or 3 inch groups. It really doesn't matter. But that's just me. Feel kind of new to loading for precision. Load 2 at each charge weight and shoot them in 2 strings to make sure I'm analyzing decently. Then once I think I'm on a node, I do 5-shot sets to refine it. And that's the other thing. The golden rule of reloading still needs to stay, still needs to be you start low, you work your way up, all of that crap. Well, it's like, I'm not going to start low with a 500 shot group or whatever it is. I feel like I need to statistically prove it. So it might just be like, maybe you need several range trips to get anywhere, to even start, right? You need first range trip to check your pressures and velocities. Maybe you get a basic idea of how things are looking.
Small 383 super chatted $5. Descriptive statistics is great for load verification, but inferential statistical methods are valid too.
Appreciate that, Small Fry. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't really know what all those words mean, but I think I get what you're saying. And yeah. What's up, D-Dub? Am I loading for turkey hunting? Yes. I'm going to load up some tungsten and bismuth kind of duplex loads for turkey season this year. That'll be my next video. Kneeling will always save brass life, but with 223 brass being cheap, plentiful, I don't worry about it. That's extremely valid. Makes a lot of sense to me. Oh, okay. He was answering J Red, is a kneeling necessary on 223556? I mean, depends, you must define necessary, sir. Like, yes, it is. If you want maximum brass life, if you want the most consistent hardness for your loads, yes. But are you shooting, plinking ammo? Don't sweat it too much, man. Just pick up another 5 gallon bucket worth of brass off the ground next time you're at the range, and don't worry about it. Up north reloading. Glad you could join. Stubbs, what's a good way to start a channel? Like a Mark 262 series, beginner help videos, oddball stuff? A good question. I don't know. Right? Like my video or my channel started with beginner guides and stuff like that. Whether or not I was qualified to do them is another question, but I don't know. They helped some people, and they started things. That's where the channel started. I'm not sure what would be the best way to start these days. What's with the lack of instructions on the Lee micro seeder? Been reloading for 43 years. Never crushed a neck shoulder like you did last night. Right after I watched your video, I ruined 8223. I don't think it's related to the micro seeder part. I think it was just, I think this 223 die, like if it's a dead length bullet seating die where you're supposed to screw it down until it touches the shell holder and then screw it a little bit farther and it stays there, contact with the shell holder. I don't think this die can do that. I think you have to back it up, or the shoulder's too low and it ends up making contact with the shoulder of the brass. But I know, like, I have plenty of other Lee dies that work fine, screwed down to the shell holder. So I need to look into that. I need to gather up all of my Lee seating dies and see if all of them are, work screwed down to the shell holder, or whether it's just this 223 die that has to be backed off a little bit. Rollis Anil's is Starline 223, but range pickups, no. That's a good way to go about it, right? If you got kind of got the good stuff that you take the time to take care of, and other stuff that you don't. Like, if you get an annealing setup, especially like something like the annealies or something where you just kind of load it up and it goes through them pretty quick and it's pretty easy to do. Like, it doesn't take long to anneal. But, it's money, it's equipment, it's time to learn what you're doing or how you want to do it. So glad to hear the Lee Precision rattles like mine. Yeah, I think the seating stem always rattles in the Lees. I think. Millrad started his channel today, decided on a mess of a combo to drive down the bottom of it in 350 Legends. Going up multi-part. Video 1 is up. There will easily be 2 more in that caliber. Good luck. Everybody go check out Millrad's videos. Give him some feedback. Any plans for 22 arc loading? Nope. I'm not really looking to get into any new cartridges this year. Maybe next year. This year I'm trying to regain my love of shooting. Trying to get out on the range. Trying to shoot the guns that I do own. And, you know, I just got overwhelmed. I bought too many guns. I had too much stuff laying around. I had to get rid of some stuff, and I don't want to get back into that situation here as soon as I'm just trying to get back into the hobby. Screwed up a 458 Win Mag case when you went a little too far when seating crimping and it wrinkled the case. That is such a crappy feeling, man. It really does suck, especially if you're working on one of your nice sets of brass. You got exactly 100 of them or something, and you screw one up. Like, God, 99. There's nothing worse than having 99 pieces of something.
Millradlab super chatted $5. Thanks, Shannon. I appreciate the help.
Hey, no problem. Somebody, let's see. Deburring the flash hole. Was somebody asking about deburring the flash hole? It really depends on the brass you're shooting. If you're shooting brass that isn't trash, like some Starline, some Hornady, some anything better than that level, don't worry about it. It's not that bad. If you're shooting some 50-year-old Winchester, yeah, you probably need to, because there's probably a big old hanging chad of a dingus in there that's going to need chopped off. Whether it makes much difference, I can't say, but you'll at least feel like you're doing something. But yeah, modern brass is just made so much better. A lot of the old school prep, neck turning and flash hole deburring and stuff, like, I don't. The return on investment, and it's a big time investment to do all that crap. The return is just not there for a lot of new brass, in my opinion. What was wrong with annealing in water halfway up the brass? I've never tried that. I've seen people do that where you have the web of the case in water to keep it from getting too hot. Yeah, I don't know. I've never done that or kind of felt the need to. So a lot of ways to anneal though, and a lot of them work. Going to do some more shotgun reloading soon. Yes, my next video will be loading up some 12 gauge for turkey season. Drag the Henry back out and work up some subs. That gun is gone. I'm actually completely out of 38 357 now. I got rid of the Ruger GP100. I got rid of the Henry. And I don't miss either one of them. The Henry was too stinking heavy, man. Crazy heavy. I just didn't have a good use for it. I didn't want to carry it in the woods to hunt with. So I love 38 357 though. Super awesome cartridge. I just chose poorly on the guns I bought. So maybe I'll get back into it. Am I going to get that PPC out again? Yes, absolutely. Probably pretty soon. Like I'm in the mood to shoot some small groups. We've been shooting all these nasty copper groups.
Banana Mags in Pajamas super chatted $5.02. Shout out to my Western Australian brothers. They are going through the worst ban since 1996.
Hey, thanks, Banana Mags. Yeah, I saw a couple videos about that. Certainly wish them luck. Do I own a 300 WSM? No. Never shot that cartridge. Banditos had the shoulders blow out like I did on some... Yeah, in case anybody doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about. I got them here somewhere. There they are, behind the camera. That's what we're talking about. Because I took my 223 Lee seating die, screwed it all the way down until it touched, and like that's how the dead length bullet seating dies instructions go, at least I think. And ended up with this. So, but I've got other, like all of my Milsurp stuff, 7.5 by 55 Swiss, 7.62 by 54R. I use nothing but Lee dies in those cartridges for some reason. And all of those, I screw them down until it touches, and there's plenty of room in the seating die to leave room for the case. I mean, that's what's happened here. It's just, you know, the brass, the seating die, the body of the seating die has made contact with the shoulder of the case and just pushed it. It shouldn't do that, right? The body of the die shouldn't make any contact. Well, usually, unless it's like a guide. You know, a lot of them have sliding guides and stuff. But need to revisit that at some point and maybe make a follow-up video subject. Now talk about why copper in 223 and what the use case would be. Why copper is, for some reason, well, I remember why. Like way back early on, some of my earliest videos were trying to find hunting bullets in 223 that I could deer hunt with. It was before the Spear Gold Dot rifle bullets came out. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of bullets laying around that I bought a long time ago. And that's really the only reason why I'm testing them. I have absolutely no plans to hunt with any of these copper bullets in 223, especially like the heavy stuff. So those 70 grainers I was shooting, you know, the velocity was low. We were shooting about 2,600 feet per second. So maybe we could push that up to 2,700 or something. But, you know, you already saw in that video, if you noticed the target velocities were 2,300 feet per second. Well, you need like 2,000 feet per second for these things to expand. So with heavy 223, where your velocities are going to be limited, all of these bullets are going to be range limited. So it would really probably be smarter if you did want a copper deer bullet in 223 to maybe go down to 62s or 65s or something like that, where you could get a little bit more velocity and get a little bit more range. And, you know, that's the other problem with copper bullets is, you know, they say they expand down to 2,000, but if you've seen that expanded copper bullet at 2,000 feet per second, it is not impressive whatsoever. You want them going fast. Like, you want impact velocity to be way up there so that they mushroom out nicely. And 223 is not the place to do that with 70 grain bullets or 75 grain bullets or whatever. So, yeah, hopefully that answered the question. But yeah, the reason I'm testing is because I've just got them laying around. Actually, hold on one sec. I'll be right back. Yeah, so exactly what I'm talking about. I do have these that I'll be testing soon. The 65 grain match tactical hunting from Cutting Edge Bullets. Like, this might be a better choice. To be honest with you, I'm going to need to check their website and see how these are supposed to expand. Whether they're on my hand. Whether these hold together or whether they're more of a fragmenting design. I don't know for sure, but you know, something like the 65s would probably be a better choice than the 70s that are going a little bit too slow. I plan on any new calibers? No. Just going to shoot what I've got here for a while because I'm trying to rekindle my interest in shooting because, you know, I just took a year off, didn't miss it, kind of got sick of shooting, so I need to get back into shooting. I've actually sold a bunch of guns and gotten out of some calibers, so eventually, maybe next year, right? If I can learn to love shooting again this year, then maybe next year we'll do something goofy. I'm sure some company's going to release some stupid cartridge that everybody's going to want me to shoot. Aaron's got a couple deer hanging on the wall that the 50 grain GMX bullets took down. I don't doubt that. What happened to the PPC? What was your granddad's name? I may have shot with him. It's still around, and you might have. Like, he lived in West Virginia. So if you were around then yeah, you might have. I've had some other people recognize the gun or just kind of, yeah, whatever. But yeah, it might have been. It's a small world. That shoulder problem happens to you all the time in 30-40 Craig. Now, there are, like, a really bad annealing job can... I've talked to people that kind of over annealed brass and really just destroyed their brass and then went to seat bullets in it and it was doing this on them. Yeah. Trying to think of other... I'm sure there are other reasons why it could happen. Doesn't necessarily always have to mean hard contact between the body and the brass, but at least in my case here with the Lee die, I'm sure that's what's going on. Why don't I shoot a bolt gun? I've got one. Yeah, we'll be shooting you're talking about 223. You know, I've got a Remington 700 223. It's just a slower twist. Not really appropriate for those 70 grain bullets that I shot in the last video. But whenever we're shooting 75s, or I'm sorry, 55s, or maybe those 65s, I think it would probably be okay with those 65s. I'll have to look. I don't even remember what the twist rate is on that gun. Plus, I like shooting gas guns. Have I thought about trying some competition shooting to get my interest back in shooting? Yes. And I've considered moving. And if I move, you know, I might look for a place that a little bit closer to a place where I could, you know, to a nice club or something where I could shoot. Just don't have anything super close. That's not really an excuse though, right? Like, I mean, I could drive an hour or something and be at a couple different clubs, I'm sure, and get into it. But the other problem is, like, my eyesight is getting worse every day, it feels like. And sometimes it makes shooting a little bit more aggravating. Get that 300 blackout back out. Yep, I do still have, you know, I've got a 16-inch 300 blackout, and then that, what is it, 10.5? I've switched my short 300 blackout barrel so many times I don't even remember what I've got in my SBR right now. Yeah, we'll shoot some 300 blackout soon. Love to see the 410 make an appearance again. I would love to load some 410. Fine gentleman sent me a press. I've got a whole mech press set up and ready to go. I was kind of waiting for 410 components to start coming back in stock more often. And that still doesn't seem to have happened. So maybe after turkey season's over or something, maybe some 410 stuff will start coming back in stock. I don't want to make videos about crap that people can't buy. You know, stuff that's not available. And actually, I've shot both long shot and blue dot in 12 gauge successfully, and I was trying to decide which one to go with for my next video. Now, a lot of people have mentioned that Alliant powders are really, really hard to find due to the wars and stuff. And like, so is the pistol powders the same way, or the shotgun powders? Like, can you get blue dot these days? If not, I'll just use long shot. Eyesight's really sketchy after eye surgery. You're old, shot better when you were younger. Yeah, I miss the enjoyment of shooting open sights and feeling like I was good at it. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like I could shoot a good group. Like these days, it's tough. It's got some pull down powder. Been a while since I've seen much pull down powder on the market. Like to see a Wilson Combat barrel. My 16-inch 300 Blackout's a Wilson Combat. It doesn't, like, it shoots fine. Like, it's good. It's fine. It's not great. The funny thing is, the best 300 Blackout barrel I ever had was a $79 AR Stoner that shot frickin' lights out, man. It was a 1-in-8 twist, 16-incher with, I think it had a mid-gas. So, but yeah, that thing shot great. A lot of my early videos were made with that and shot really good. What's up, Forzax? Good to see you. What's my opinion on the new hybrid cases? Too early to tell since we're not able to. Yeah, like I haven't really been following what's going on with that. And I did see the video where they reloaded one and showed it to you and all that. I think we watched it in my last live stream. Pull down powder equals off spec. Yeah, like, you know, I guess it all depends on the price. Like, it would have to be really, really good for me to consider it these days. Like, because, yeah, I don't know. Back in the day, like, that was a lot of what you ended up shooting, I think. Actually, I have. Speaking of the 6 PPC. Buy. The original 8208. Not XBR crap. This was like, I don't even know what these numbers mean. Is used 322 data.
Mark Larkoom super chatted $5. Reload anything you want and makes you happy, bud. I'm here for all of it. Cheers, brother.
Hey, thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. But yeah, like, you know, yeah, the original 8208 was some crap that came in 55-gallon drums or something, and people bought it like by the scoop out of the back of a station wagon or something, I think. But there's a history of using dodgy powder.
Michael Dufresne super chatted $5. 6 ARC crew, checking in.
Hey, Michael, thanks, man. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, I need to get the 6 arc out. That's another one. I need to buy some 30 caliber copper bullets, and I need to buy some 6mm copper bullets to try an arc. But even beyond copper crap, I need to just get the arc out and shoot it some more. Really great, really great cartridge for the testing I've done. Uh-oh. My streaming software just disconnected. I think we're back, though. Hopefully the whole stream didn't drop. Yeah, we're still live. Buy the scoop out of the station wagon. Yep, those were the days. So original, it has the duct tape label. Like, I don't know anything about. I've read about 8208. Like, just Google 8208 powder, and there's, forum threads and all sorts of crap of people talking about the good old days when you could get the original stuff before the days of 8208 XBR and I don't know, Benchmark, N133 and all that stuff. No drops. You didn't even see a drop. All right, James is cutting in and out. Hopefully we're alive. What happened to the Redding turret? It's still here, brother. I'll go use it in my next video. I'm not sure if it was you, but somebody else was like, what happened to the T7? Like, it's still around. I've just been using the RCBS Rebel a lot lately. But we'll use the Redding in the next video. I think I used the Redding in a recent video, I think.
The Hunter 518 super chatted $4.99. Just built a new 6 ARC and would love some videos on that. Thank you for all you do and inspiring me to start reloading.
Hey, thanks, the Hunter. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Inexperienced loading black powder cartridges. Been reloading some 4440 for my Uberti lever gun recently, and it's the most fun I've had reloading in a long time. No, I don't. I do have my grandpa's old 3240 that I've done a video or two on it, but I don't think he ever shot black powder in it. I don't know if it's. I'm sure you could, but. I haven't really messed around with them. Are you guys using like real black powder, or are you mainly using black powder replacements, substitutes and stuff? What's your cleaning regimen look like? Do you have to like shoot it twice and clean, shoot two more and clean, that sort of nonsense? Black powder is some nasty stuff. Actually, that's talking about guns and what I should buy next. I really need to buy a nice muzzleloader. I should probably get me one of those smokeless muzzleloaders. Didn't even know those were a thing until a couple years ago. Pretty wild stuff. 8208 XBR is your favorite 5.56 powder, but it's $60 a pound now. Eesh.
Pete 7607 super chatted $4.19. Would be great to see some 410 content. My buddy just dropped off a Mech 600 Junior for me as he does not reload.
Appreciate that, Pete. Yeah, and I want to. Like, that's, like I said, I've got the press ready to go. I do have some some holes. I could load for it, but it's just so hard to get any 410 components. I'd much rather, I wish I could get some primed holes, some new primed 3-inch holes in particular for turkey shells and stuff, but just haven't had any luck yet. I need to keep my eyes open, but one of these days. Dave was watching the slideshow. Are we back to normal? Looks like my bit rate's looking good. Haven't dropped too many frames here in the last little bit, so hopefully everything's back to normal. Virgil says a couple European countries are starting to use Grendel. Personally have not, but see them at the range. Guys like it. It's an interesting round. It definitely is an interesting round. I'm a big fan. Kind of like I was mentioning earlier, the lighter bullets and higher velocity of the 6 arc.
Six and Burls became a member.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, the added velocity of the 6 arc is probably a pretty big advantage, especially in some stuff like I was talking about, shooting copper bullets and needing as much terminal velocity as you can get and stuff. Because that's been the difficult part with the Grendel. Even with lead bullets, like we shot the Grendel with some Spear gold dots into gel, and it was the worst gold dot expansion I had seen. And I think it's those 120 gold dots that I was shooting were really made for higher velocity stuff. So that, I guess I should say, with the Grendel, it's very important to select appropriate bullets. And there's a lot of bullets on the market that are purpose made for the Grendel and the, low velocity expansion performance. So that's really the main warning I would give anybody in the Grendel is just be careful with your bullet selection. Look for what's on the market specifically for the Grendel, and try to check your expansion before you go hitting the woods with anything. Yeah, Tyler said, have I heard about the new bolt carrier group from Griffin shooting suppressed? It drops ear noise by 10 dB. Somebody mentioned that in my last live stream. Sounds pretty cool. I probably wouldn't buy one yet. I don't really have, I always shoot with hearing protection anyway, even when I'm shooting suppressed. Literally the only thing I will shoot without hearing protection is 300 blackout subsonics. But hey, 10 dB is 10 dB. Just discovered the channel, going OCD watching it. Appreciate that. That's always my favorite thing, is finding a new YouTuber or something that I enjoy, and then finding out they've got a crap ton of videos that are similar. Just about out of 8208 XBR, secured in the vault until it becomes available again. I thought somebody in a previous live stream was saying that they had seen some recently, so hopefully it's going to be more available. Yeah, there you go. Stubbs says available now, has been for a few weeks for those that have been waiting. Use mostly Trail Boss in your 3220. The primed 410 holes are near extinct, but 410 ammo is plentiful, albeit expensive, reliable for reloading, cut down the cost, reusing fired holes. Yeah, but man, it makes the process, because like the 12 gauge video I'm about to do, there's going to be no press involved, right? I've got new holes, primed holes, dump the crap in there, and then use a use a roll crimper on my drill press to complete the rounds. So it's nice to be able to do that. Which I guess, like, let's be honest, I've already mentioned, I've got the 410 press set up and ready to go. If I'm going to buy new holes and not need it, that would be dumb, right? So, like, the natural thing to do would be to go ahead and use the used holes. And like I said, I've got fired holes for 410. But maybe I'll do a video soon. Use GoX black powder and typically just run warm water through the barrel action, then clean everything out with water. Balistol mix. Definitely have to clean after every outing. Yeah, it's not bad as long as you get into a process. Don't get lazy, right? Like, remember when I was a kid? I think it was one of my dad's buddies had a muzzleloader that he didn't clean, and like they were going at it with steel wool, because like, man, like that residue will absolutely eat a barrel. It was pitted to hell and back, and they were going at it with steel wool trying to make it safe to shoot again. Tons of data for 12 gauge to 410 and TSS and bismuth. Yeah. Yeah, you can, like, Ballistic Products has got whole manuals just for tungsten stuff, and a lot of info out there. Like, whenever I was getting into it though for the first time, the problem was like everything was out of stock. It was the worst of the COVID, era where everything was gone and couldn't get jack squat. And the problem was, it's like there were a million recipes, but finding the exact components for those recipes was nearly impossible. So that was a little bit annoying. But hopefully that's all improved for the most part. Buffering hard. Yeah, it looks like I'm dropping more frames. Like I'm dropping a bunch of frames. Hopefully coming back now. Nope, dropped again. But yeah, sorry guys. I got the slideshow thing happening again. Tons of lag. Tyler's getting lag. Lots of lag out there. Yeah, and it still looks like I'm dropping frames. We'll just give it a second here. Let's take a break. I need something to drink. I haven't stopped to take a drink. Let's just take a minute. Let's let the next Starlight or Starlink satellite come over. You're not going to hear me complaining too much because, listen, Starlink is a heck of a lot better than the internet I used to have. And that's kind of this is the downside. It's like every once in a while I just lose connectivity and then it comes back. Looks like we might be back now. Test 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Are we moving again? I think we're alive. all shotgun take the same primer? As far as I know. .8208's in stock, but why so much? Because they can, brother. They can blame it on inflation. Same reason why primers are freaking $80 or whatever. Yeah, maybe there's a guy at YouTube doesn't like guns. He's pressing the freeze button. We were back. My signal looked good there for a little bit. Now it started bouncing yet again. We may have to end the stream here pretty soon, folks. If it doesn't get better. Looks like I'm behind with the comments, like there's a delay. That might be. Like I read your comment just now, talking about delay, as soon as it popped up on my screen. Hey, Justin, finally made it to one of these. Well, you picked a bad one, brother. We're having some signal problems. My internet is trash. And we might be pretty close to ending the stream if it doesn't get better soon, because everybody's having lag. Was Reloader 15 my best powder for 308 test? Just scored 2 pounds. That Reloader 15 is going to be a great powder for 308. Pretty much across most of the weight range. That'll be a great choice for you. And I've had some luck with Reloader 15 and 308. Kind of like, the powders for 308 and 5.56 are pretty much the same powders for the most part. And like I mentioned earlier in the stream, like that's like 2/3 of the powders of the rifle powders on the market are medium rifle powders that are appropriate for it. So there's a lot of good options, and it's hard to answer what's best or what's not best. There really aren't any bad powders. There are powders that haven't worked for me yet, but that just means I haven't tried the right combination with it. What's up, Conan? Are you guys hearing me at all? Are we just completely dead? Do we need to end the stream? It might be time to end the stream.